Hi, this is Sergeant Beast Larson. Today we're talking about should the Menendez brothers be released? Lyle and Eric Menendez. And there's a big push from this from the prosecutor, the district attorney, George Gaskin. There's also a couple celebrities, Rosie O'Donnell and Kim Kardashian, that are pushing for this. So what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? We're live here. Let's talk about it. Should they be released? All right. All right. Welcome. Any opinions so far yet before I start and explaining a few things, a few details? All right. Thank you for joining. And first of all, as obvious, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Sergeant Beast Larson, on YouTube. I also have a podcast called Prepper and Beast Hour with my partner, the All-American Prepper 13. And Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we talk about survival and safety. So I'm talking here today, Lyle and Eric Menendez, Monsters, the new show released in September last month, the new show on Netflix, which I watched, and I've kind of followed this. Reason being, because I've written a book with my partner Timothy Amdahl, Why People Kill. So I've been around and talked and studied serial killers in my career as a police officer and a correction officer. The book available on Amazon, by the way. So, I've read about this stuff in the past, watched the Netflix series and everything. The bottom line, Rosie O'Donnell's pushing for it. Kim Kardashian's pushing for it. She's doing this paralegal thing or college for legal, whatever, pushing for this. And I guess a part of their reasoning for this is them being abused themselves is kind of what they're saying on TV. The prosecutor, coincidentally in this case, that's really pushing this, George Gaskin, he also is running for election, and in a couple weeks, he could be reelected as the prosecutor or not. So this is a big push. There's a lot of media around this. He's pushing, hey, if he can get the Menendez brothers released, that'll help his campaign, help him win, get reelected as prosecutor. Hello, Sareem, hello. Thank you for joining. So is that fair to society? Is that fair to us? Now, I'm in Kentucky. I don't live anywhere where they are. However, they get out of jail. I'm sure they'll be worth a ton of money, a lot of access out there out west where they came from and out in California. Hello from Bali, Indonesia. AJ, hello. Big fan. Thank you. Everybody, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Sergeant Beast Larson. We talk about all kind of things. My wife and I've got some advisors for topics. The Menendez. So the prosecutor wants him to get out so he can get elected. That's basically it. And I'm going to give you my opinion here in a minute. The two avenues they have is file for a habeas corpus. I'm not an attorney, police officer, so I mess up on a couple legal words. What it is, can see their petition for and ask the judge to vacate the sentence. Now, this requires a much higher standard, a much higher bar for the judge to acknowledge and do and release this. What habeas corpus is a procedure to challenge their imprisonment. So it's challenging them. Should they be imprisoned? Well, they killed their parents. They went to trial. They were found guilty by a jury of their peers, and they were sentenced to life. 2 life sentences. So they want to challenge that. Or secondly, just ask the judge to resentence them, which would give them credit for time served. These murders go back to 1989. Lyle and Eric. Lyle was 21 at the time of the murder. Eric was 18 at the time of the murder. 18 and 21, they're both legal adults at that point. Legal adults. What was the net worth of Jose Menendez at the time? Looking it up, $20 million is an estimate. $20 million net worth. So they had access to money. They had trust funds. There was money there for them. He was, in the entertainment business, for movies and music, etc., which is important with the name I'm going to say here. Roy Rosello. Rosello. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong. He was a member of a boy band who alleged he was raped by Jose in 1984, which is 5 years before the murders. So here's something that's very important, all. What's the stream about? Fun Rising. Lyle and Eric Menendez murdered their parents in 1989. Cold blood. Took the shotguns, went inside, shot them on a couch. Shot and killed them out in Beverly Hills. So what I'm talking about is there's an immediate press by the prosecutor, and I've explained why he wants to get reelected, to get them released based upon this alleged sexual abuse drove them to do it. That's what made them kill their parents. So what I want to say, in my opinion, and give me your opinions. Now let me tell you this. Eric sent a letter. Eric, when he was 17, 8 months prior to the murders, 8 months prior, Eric sent a letter to his cousin outlining this alleged abuse. I have to say alleged, because certain things were proven and certain things weren't. Alleged abuse by his father and his older brother, Lyle. So the situation they're claiming, Lyle was raped by his father, so he in turn raped his younger brother, which is that pattern of violence. In police, we talk about this. Those that are abused become abusers. So they're alleging that Lyle was abused, so he in turn, while the abuse was going on by his father, he was abusing Eric, and the father was abusing Eric as well. So they're both claiming that they were sexually assaulted, raped, because of their young age and the legal words. Does that justify them to, once after months and months and talking and planning, when they're both legal adults, 21 and 18, instead of moving out, they got shotguns, and actually they went to buy a gun, and they were denied. They couldn't get the handgun because of the waiting period. Went to other gun stores and found out they can get a shotgun, buy it over the counter. They had fake IDs, but they could buy it over the counter, pay for it, walk away with it. They did that. They went home, shot their parents. So the jury of their peers found them both guilty of murder. 2 counts, mother and father. Okay, you're up to speed now. Great. So I, as a police officer and a correction supervisor at isolation units, I've been around the victims and I've been around the rapists and the murders. It's why I wrote this book, Why People Kill. I've been around them. So I have talked, I've interviewed, I've studied, I've listened. Being molested as a child and they're adult, they had options. They could legally leave. They had access to money. All of their friends were from Beverly Hills. They had access to money. They were involved, employment, whatever, investments. Lyle was older. Why did they not just go to the authorities at any time in their life as a juvenile? Because when you got a juvenile and you go and they can prove some evidence, prove some things, put dad in prison for life. They turned 18, they were legal. When they were 18, why did they not go to the prosecutor? Why did they not go get an attorney and say, hey, we need help, we need representation. This is what happened to us. People aren't going to believe us because of money, because of Beverly Hills status. They could have went with a lawyer and filed with the police department a report, went to the prosecutor to file criminal charges against father, criminal charges against the mother, if in fact she was involved or she allowed. Thank you. I'm glad that you're enjoying this rhyme. I love to talk about stuff like this and why, the who, what, and why. They chose. That's the purpose of this book. Why do people kill? I'm not talking, because Xanax made them do it. You can't blame the drugs. Don't blame the alcohol. Don't blame stuff. And in the beginning in there, my partner Tim and I, we state we're not talking about children being molested as a reason to kill. We're talking about the options people have. But then again, this kind of connects the two. Did they have to get a shotgun and go in there and shoot their parents in the den, whatever you call that room in Beverly Hills in your fancy house, couches and a TV and a fireplace in there, sitting room? Did they have to walk in there, shoot them in cold blood, reload, and keep shooting to make sure they were dead? Could have went another way. They could have gotten a car and drove far away. Could have drove states away, 1,000 miles away, and called a prosecutor, called an attorney, and said, look, we had to get away from danger. We're adults now. Lau could have called and said, hey, I'm 21, my brother's 18. We were abused by our father. We have fled. We're adults. We have money. We're in hiding now. We need legal representation to go to the police and the authority. That's what you expect to do. And yes, Breaking Bad professor, thank you. Actually, my wife suggested I wear this purple shirt on my next live video. So I got to say a thumbs up. You've heard about the story, Ryan. Yes, watch the news because there's been breaking stuff today in the last 5 hours. This prosecutor, he's got the wheels spinning on his car. And I do judge a book by its cover. I do profile people, yes. I've been around these criminals. You know, I'm retired. I got 29 years between military, police, and corrections. Seen these people, seen the crime, seen things happen. I'm looking at the prosecutor, which is on the thumbnail for this video. You know, if you go and check over on my page, you see the thumbnail. That's the prosecutor. And I looked at him, and he looks like I don't know. I just would want to have an attorney representing and fighting for me, somebody who looks like they're serious and they mean business. He just looks sloppy, got a shirt and a suit on, and he's a prosecutor trying to get elected, and he's going to go. You're basing all this, basically, judge, please resentence us, let us get out, because we're married, we want to get with our wives, number one, because we want to be able to profit. Number two, haven't said this yet, being in prison, a lot of states like that, where they cannot profit from books, from movies, from Netflix stuff. They don't make a dime off of that if they're incarcerated. If they get released, okay, maybe longer for 2 seconds to screenshot. I'll do that. Sorry about that. I'll hold this up here. Why People Kill, Looking Deeper for Answers. Timothy Amdahl and Steve Larson. So they get out, if they get out, then they get to connect with Hollywood royalty. Can you imagine being one of the Menendez brothers? And all of a sudden, after all of this in Netflix, they've made them out to be heroes now, even though they murdered their parents in cold blood instead of just going through the legal system the way they should have. And I'll tell you this. Let me tell you this. I got 2 daughters, and unfortunately, some things have happened to them, and I've had to use the legal system instead of killing this piece of crap man that hurt my daughters. I use the legal system because was a police officer and retired police, and I'm supposed to be the example, and I'm supposed to believe in law enforcement and the justice system. Went to the prosecutor, went the right steps, did the right things. I did it that way. Unlike these guys, you was in the Army, Delta. Thank you, thank you. Thanks again for everybody for joining. James George Opolis. Sorry. Okay, thank you. So I did the right thing. A lot of people do the right thing. The prosecutors have cases overloaded by people doing the right thing. The Menendez brothers decided to go buy shotguns and go in there. You're welcome. Go in and just shoot and kill their parents and then go away. Joe Buck, hey, how you doing? That's my buddy Joe. He's a part of Team Beast, a computer expert, an advisor, gives me a great advice. And we were neighbors for a long time. Funny, back, let's see, 15 years ago, my daughter had a crush. Yeah, 15. Had a crush on his son. So Joe and I, we were great buddies from a long time. Joe, tell me, what do you think? Should the Menendez brothers be released? Should the prosecutor be pushing this? They are monsters for what they did, this planning and then go and do that. Because you and I, everybody that's on here talking, have not planned to went and kill anybody, and none of us are in prison. They should be released. Why? QXSS, why? Why should they be released? Do you think they have time served? They've been in there for 30 plus years. Is that good enough? Are they a danger to society? That's the next point I want to make out, QXSS. So I mentioned they want to get out because they're married, the prison marriage, all that kind of stuff. And the prisons are real specific to say, and no, they don't get conjugal visits. You know, they get out, they have wife, they have families, they start a family. Should they reproduce? Why are they not a danger to society? Why? Have they been... There's no place in prison. Prison's overloaded. And that's a good answer. Well, I'm tired of paying for their food. Well, my tax dollars are a different state, but basically everybody out there is tired of paying for their food. So why? Why should they be released? I think they need to stay in there because they've done this before. They have over 30 years. And I'm telling you, prison life is tough. Their life has been tough. They have had to be involved in fights. They have really had to protect themselves. It has not been easy for them. It has not been easy for them at all. Oh, I'm clicking a button here, trying to get out of this and back. Life has been difficult. Yeah, exactly. I haven't gunned down anybody, Ryan, and they don't have a right to do that. And crying, and then they stick together like, you know, they're brothers. They go to prison. Yeah, I would want to stick with my brother too. Sure. But prison equals many hell. Exactly. Exactly, classic. But they took a life. Get your father put in prison and let him suffer prison life as a child molester, a chomo. Let your father do that. Don't go kill your mother and father. If she knew about it, if she allowed it, if she just closed the door, covered the pillow over her head and ignored it, she's going to suffer when the boys leave and when dad's in jail. And life would be miserable for her, and they'd probably prosecute her anyhow. Yeah. I mean, I personally would rather the father be dead by some way, you know, maybe natural causes or something. That sounds ridiculous. They don't have a right to do this, though. We have to have a justice system. Patrick, what I'm talking about, Menendez Brothers, should they up and be released and allowed to have family right now because the prosecutor wants to get them reelected? Should they be allowed to profit from their story, from Netflix, from all these things now? Should they be allowed to become an instant millionaire, celebrity in Beverly Hills, kill their parents, rubbing elbows? Rosie O'Donnell, yes, there's stories she's talked about, you know, things and abuse that's happened to her too, but she didn't kill anybody. Kim Kardashian, you know, involved in this whole P. Diddy thing, she's pushing all the way. Hello, all the way from South Africa, welcome. She's pushing all this, release, you know, trying to pursue legal career, you know, lawyer career herself, alleged involvement with P. Diddy and all this covering up stuff like this. But why are these celebrities really trying to push to get some of their buddies out? I think it's because the Menendez brothers have some connections. They want to rub elbows. People want to be around murderers. You know, I hate to say it, but I like to say it because it's the truth. It's the reality of society, the truth in society. Everybody likes to do this. Then they get out, married, family, can make babies if they're still able, get rich off all this stuff, get to go travel the world, be everywhere, maybe get a new name, probably not keep their name. They probably walk around with t-shirts on, says, "Hi, I'm Lau Menendez. Hi, I'm Eric Menendez." They'd probably do that so everybody knows who they are. Truth is bitter. It is. It's hard. It's hard for people to say, to admit. You know, I've been through a lot of things, and my daughters have been through a lot of counseling. And it's painful. It's frustrating. And they've adjusted. They've reacted to it. Both of them are in the nursing field now. Got some college degrees. One, a college going on the other on a dean's list. They made something of their life instead of becoming murderers. I'm just saying. Plenty of opportunities in this world. Plenty of opportunities in this world. You don't have to go and shoot and kill just because. I do not believe they need to be released. I believe they need to stay there as they were sentenced to 2 life sentences by a jury of their peers. Keep the Menendez brothers in, and because the prosecutor is using this, he's going to lose an election. This is his ploy to get reelected. I hope he loses his election. Yes, exactly. Great point there, Aaron. Jail. You do wrong, you go to jail. That's how the system works. You're supposed to go to authorities. You're supposed to believe in the system. I know the system is going to fail, and it did fail in California last week. Just change the topic really quick. A woman goes and files and gets a restraining order in California last week, 3:30 p.m. 11:30 p.m., the man she gets this restraining order against is beating on the apartment door that the woman and her 26-year-old son share. The man kicks the door through, comes in, shoots the 26-year-old son in the hip. Son's on the ground. He's trying to crawl to get to safety. I guess in the apartment, neighbors called the police, so they come. The son gets out. The police are there, gets to safety. Outside of the apartment, they hear 2 gunshots. The police gather, come in tactically. They go inside, got information. Guy's already been shot, so they know there's a man with the gun. They find the boy's mother shot dead, the one that went and got the restraining order. She is dead, and then the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, committed suicide. So murder-suicide. On the same day, she got a restraining order. So very unfortunate. You know, I feel my prayers for the son, for recovery, for the mental and emotional that he's got to deal with the rest of his life. That's part of that. That's okay, Ryan. Share. Thank you for sharing that. Your parents and I'm better than that. Yes. Ice Blue, welcome. Thank you. It is. You're getting a job. You're doing better. Doing better. That's outstanding. We still believe in the system when it fails. Great job, Brian. We believe in the system when it fails, but it doesn't mean we turn away from it because we don't like it. There's more than one kind of chocolate. There's more than one company that makes chocolate. There's more than one prosecutor. There's more than one legal avenue. That's why the lawyers go to get law degrees and have books stacked all up, you know, fancy books, not books like these that I'm reading, educational and serial killer books. There's a way. The other part of the justice system, Ryan and Aaron, Ice Blue, Joe, the other part of the system is there is corruption that is going on. And that's something after the election. And corruption is a big topic. It's a big problem. It's a personal issue for me because working at the prison down in Georgia, I was exposed. The captain put a hit on me. Actually, they were trying to kill me. And I ended up going to investigators in the FBI, and I exposed them for this. And several people have went to jail for this, for what they were bringing in, the contraband bringing in, stuff like that. I made a formal complaint with the FBI for hostile work environment, for harassment, for sexual harassment, all the things that were violated. So I did, and I represented people, and that's how you go and do this. The Justice Department, if you remember, has arrested 2 wardens in the state of Georgia in the last 18 months. Information I provided. Their gang involvement, the stuff they were allowing to happen and bring in, which was illegal, a lot of illegal stuff. They're going to be in federal prison for a long time. So that's how you attack this. So after this, no jail, more graves. Yeah, but putting my head and my heart together, that's something that I believe in both ways. But I got to believe the system first. We just don't go out and kill our parents like that. But anyhow, I this 25 minutes. You guys have had some great comments. Stay tuned. We'll talk about some more stuff. We may have to revisit this. But it was great. It's great chatting with you. It's great to have this reception from you. Don't forget to subscribe, Sergeant Beast Larson on YouTube. Keep watching. Check out some videos. Look at my shorts. What I'm talking about. Lastly, on Amazon, don't forget Why People Kill. Looking deeper for answers. and I talk about a lot of killers. I even go into talk about the sports, the athletic part of it. Athletes, football players, basketball players that have killed, football player that went in and don't want to be a spoiler. Football player went and shot somebody close enough that he ran from his house to his neighbor's house and killed them. And he had a reason to do that. I talk about the Blade Runner incident down in South Africa, why he killed his supermodel girlfriend on Valentine's Day. And I talk about some other issues, briefly, a couple sentences. Why did OJ? I'll leave it at that. So I talked about some athletes, talked about some MMA fighters, trauma to the head. Does this post-traumatic stress concussion syndrome, stuff like that, is that causing people to kill? Great book. You got to check it out. It's on Amazon, $12. Thanks for joining. Keep your eye out. You're subscribed. Check out on Facebook, Prepper and Beast Hour. I'll put this in the comments as well if you give a few minutes when I get off. I'll put a link to that, link to my channel, some things. Prone to anger from head trauma. Yes, Snake, thanks for joining. People are. Good play to rewind, Snake. I'm getting ready to jump off here. Check us out. Menendez Brothers, stay in jail. That's what I'm saying. Thanks for joining. Have a great day. 80 degrees here today in Kentucky and sunny. Having a good time. See you soon.